Okay, call to order the Design Review Subcommittee meeting for Wednesday, March 13th. And the first item we have in our orders of business is the approval of the minutes. Did my cohorts have a chance
I have no change. So.
Okay.
I will move approval of the Design Review Subcommittee meeting minutes from February 28, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Sign it. Okay, let's get on with the second item of business. That's the CUP 22-355 AT&T Wireless 3700 South El Camino Real. We have a staff presentation, yes?
Yes, sir. So this was previously before the Design Review Subcommittee almost a year ago. And so it's back. Feedback basically is that it was requested to install antennas on the Comfort Inn Suites, properties located within the mixed-use 5 zoning district within the city. And again, it was reviewed. And the Design Review Subcommittee raised concerns related to the architectural integration of the proposed structures at that time. And so the project is requiring a conditional use permit again because of its requested increased height as an architectural projection above the maximum allowed height of 33 feet. So here we have the location along at 3700 South El Camino Real. And the project description has been pared down slightly in that before it had a total of 16 antennas, and this would be reduced down to 8. As well as a new proposed design. The applicant evaluated several different design concepts and ultimately resulted in scaling down the project design. The equipment room would still be in the same location, and the equipment makeup there would essentially be the same. Again, roof-mounted antenna locations at the southern and northern corners of the building. Here's the previous design, was essentially like a tower cupola element. And here's the revised design, again on the northern southern corners, but essentially to replicate the designs of the chimneys that are there now. Right now there's one at the northern end and one at the southern end, and they'd basically be doubling that with the same design. Essentially resulting in a total height of that element of 8 feet off the roof, which is consistent with what's out there now, but would require that conditional use permit for the architectural projection. So that's where the design review feedback comes in terms of an appropriateness of the design, architectural integration, compatibility with the structure design. So as proposed, matching what's there with this kind of a stucco white design with the rounded chimney element. In review of the application, staff felt that there might be opportunities to enhance those designs slightly to better integrate with the Spanish architecture of the structures, with elements and features such as this, where we've got some kind of a chimney stack element, maybe some decorative elements incorporated into there. So that concludes staff's presentation. We're looking for a recommendation from the design review in terms of any design elements and critiques, as well as just overall feedback on the project that would then be moving forward to Planning Commission.
Any fireplaces? Just chimneys?
Yes.
Okay. Any thoughts? Any questions?
No, I'm in good concurrence with the recommendations by staff. I do think they need to be enhanced.
Yeah,
You do.
I like the one that you had on there on the right. That looked good.
So that would be all of them, though, not just the new ones?
Yeah, all of them.
There are only going to be 4 at the end of this whole thing, right?
Yes, correct.
So the
So
two
they're
existing
tearing
would
down
be removed and replaced with a total of 4. So the existing ones will be gone.
Do you need the height?
The existing height? Yes.
No, the height you're proposing.
Yes.
Okay.
You need that?
Yeah.
You can't do a couple feet lower?
No, no, because it's kind of, if you look behind, the elevation grade goes up. And then secondly, the issue is also a compliance issue. Since there are people on the floor underneath, you don't want the antennas
Okay, gotcha.
further down, if that makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense. So then, with them being so prominent and so sticking out so far, you're comfortable doing something like on the right there?
Yeah. We can tie it into the building. We didn't do anything too elaborate because I wanted to see if we were okay with the, proposal so far. But we can, enhance the designs.
So that's what they looked like before? Is what you were proposing?
Yes,
the
yes.
ones with the bonnet, they sort of a barrel vault.
Yeah, very plain. They look taller than they need to because there's no surround on them.
Right.
So the surround plus detail above it will break that up.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
I think John did a good job on the recommendation, and I would say if that's done, I'm good with it.
Me too.
I'm in agreement with that. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
nice job, John.
All right. Hey,
Made it easy for us.
Everyone's happy.
Good.
All right.
I'm sorry we didn't make it last longer than your drive up here.
Well, that's all right.
Over here.
Sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's okay.
You probably prefer that. Actually.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
with that for dinner.
Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you guys.
All right, good luck. Okay, let's get on with item number 2B.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
One of our favorite architects in here. That's good.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that.
So this is the. Let me get back to my agenda here. Cornerstone Church. I saw that. It's also CUP 23-197 Cornerstone Church Master Plan Amendment. Okay, so it's not a CUP amendment. It's a master plan amendment.
Yeah.
It's 702 Avenida de la Australia. And this is the first time you've been in on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
We were part with the architects originally on the master plan back in 2005.
5 or 8, somewhere way back then.
Yeah, way
I
back
remember.
then. Right. And it's had different phases. They finished the church building in 2015. And now what we're doing is, originally the master plan had a 2-story in the back of it. That was the plan. And then tearing out the historic, well, it's not really historic anymore, but the Ole Hansen house that the church uses as an office. And over the years, we got a lot of pushback on, is there a way you can change the master plan and not put a 2-story on that church? I like the fact that it's a single story. It fits more within the neighborhood, even though there's 2 stories around us. But they just felt, so is there a way that you can keep the Ole Hansen house and just modify it? And so back and forth, here we are. That's,
Okay,
we worked with Chris quite a bit on this. And then, of course, he went off to Jonathan's town. So.
Sorry about that. No, you're good. I just want to come in and say hello again.
Yeah, there you go. So here we are. I mean, we just want to update the master plan because for us our next phase on this is the first thing we're going to do is work on the old house and transform that. It's an office today, but transform it. I think the termites are the only thing that's holding it together. It's in bad shape.
Yeah.
So we're going to rework quite a bit of it and tie that architecture into the building that we did in 2015.
Okay. And Jonathan, you going to give a...
So I don't have a presentation part. I'll walk through the basics of this project
I think it's pretty clear. Did you guys review it?
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
So then
I
maybe
think we
I'll
just jump into questions. I'm fine
Yeah.
with that.
let me just highlight a couple things then
Sure.
at a surface level.
Yeah.
So from doing my review after the fact on this one, there's a couple things just to take note of. During the master plan review, it was determined that the Estrella frontage would be the front property line. Just clarifying that for the committee that, so this is the
Really?
property parcel That's
Oh,
not.
yes.
Yeah, that's not consistent with like the definition within our code for the narrowest frontage of a property is where you would pull that from. However, there's multiple lot lines that still exist here, so the lots haven't been individually merged. So the parcel is this boundary.
They had been merged.
Oh, they have been merged now. Okay.
That was part of when we got the thing.
At that time, they weren't, and so all of those individual lots fronted on Estrella, and so that's a bit unique within this project. So today, now that they're merged, we would look at El Oriente under our definitions as being the front property line. Our code says that the narrowest frontage on any public street. But given that this has already gone through Planning Commission and that was the interpretation at that time, I don't recommend that we relitigate that. I just wanted to provide that
existing
context.
access address.
The existing access is also off of Estrella.
Yeah.
Plus the address.
I would agree with
Is,
that.
on the street.
Right.
Correct. 702. So that's just one point I wanted to raise. And then the other is I made a note within the report related to that. There was a comment about an MEP tied to this front office building. That's their first priority. And there was an interest in squaring this front building. But since we have kind of the underlying interpretation of that being the front property line, we are going to be a little more limited in our options for exceptions in that space. So I didn't have time to really dive into solutions yet with the team here. And so we'll explore that a little bit further, but within the plans that you have right now, that squared off portion may have to be modified.
It's currently a call it a porch, whatever.
It's a covered porch. That's the entry to the house.
It's just enclosing an existing roof, under an existing roof.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And is that because of this front setback? Or
It's because of because of the front setback, and then currently with this being interpreted as the front setback, it's legal non-conforming, and our non-conforming section allows for additions to properties, but those additions are supposed to comply with any setback. This would be within that setback area.
So it's considered an, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So it's considered an addition because it's just being enclosed, the existing
Correct.
roof.
Right.
Yeah. Additional interior space. Correct.
But we've already got a non-conforming in the church itself. So we could couldn't we, at commission level, make the judgment that that is just a continued non-conforming, and then closing it in wouldn't create any additional.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work to come up with
that's one way to go
an
after
alternative. Yes, the other may be just identifying like structural members potentially that are already at that extent. If I can make a justification that there's not an increase in the non-conforming,
Exactly.
So I just haven't had
So
that
it's an
opportunity
existing
yet.
non-conforming
Exactly.
conformer.
So
Right.
we'll explore that. I just wanted to highlight that's one thing that's going to be in process. Otherwise, I think it'd be great to just field any questions and really let the expert here on this project respond to those.
Been
And I'll
working on it for a
respond.
long time.
Now, we are doing just a conditional use permit, site plan permit, and minor exception permit. And the exception was that they can continue the non-conforming, is that correct? Or
Work with
this
staff
core?
on this, right?
Okay, so that one we've discussed already.
Right.
Are you going to move forward with this, or do you take this now after getting an approval and start fundraising? That's
Well,
kind of what happened last time.
Well, yeah. The church has no debt on this property, and they like that. So we have the funds so our next phase. Once the master plan, let's say everything goes well, and Planning Commission approves the master plan. The next phase, and it's going to be broken that up as part of the Planning Commission, is to remodel the office building.
Okay.
We have the funds already in the bank for remodeling the office building and then some. So that's the next step. The final step after that would be to build currently where the trailers are, take those out, and put the multi-purpose room in there. That's probably 2 years out. We've already started fundraising for that.
2 years to start, or 2 years to?
Probably 2 years. If you figure if, I'm not exactly sure, Jonathan would know this better than I would, when we think we're even going to be in front of the Planning Commission. Because once you get your guys' input, then we've got to put everything together for Planning Commission. Once the Planning Commission, if all goes right, approves it, then we're going to submit plans for the office building. So we're thinking toward the end of the year, we'll probably have plans ready for permit with the office building. When I say office building, it's the house. And then that's probably 9 months in construction. It's just the way.
That's a pretty small thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just
it just takes
a little corner.
Well, we're redoing the entire inside and everything.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit of work. We have some damage.
Okay, so you're only adding the structural.
Right, but we're redoing the exterior completely and redoing the inside completely. And so it's going to take some time. Once that's done, then the next step is, depending on fundraising, to start construction on the multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose building.
The multi-purpose building is not just the multi-purpose; it's the patio area, tying everything together. Landscape. I mean, it's quite involved.
And basement.
That looks like a
In the basement,
$1 million project.
$3.2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 million doesn't buy you much these
$1
days.
million doesn't even give you construction fees. So about $3.2 million is the estimate for the multi-purpose. We're at $790,000 for the remodel in the office.
And there's no cultural heritage permit required, right?
No, correct. And
Okay.
after the streamlining, that's only applicable to sites on our historic inventory now.
What's the square footage of the multi-purpose building?
The square footage of the multi-purpose building.
2,700.
It's an increased footprint?
Yeah, well, it's a trailer right now.
It's
Oh,
new.
okay, that's
All
right.
new.
So we're actually if you look at the survey, which is C1, it's essentially the trailer is parallel with the existing house. We're rotating it so it's parallel with the rear property line. That opens that area up. So
But the only setback issue is in the front.
the only setback is in front of the existing office, right?
And it's just that wedge. It's not even the hole.
Part of the home, just a little bit of the home, it sticks in it.
Yeah.
But generally, yeah, it's that mainly it's that.
It's that one little, or the two little corners.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Any other questions? You don't really even see that area too much.
Well, you can't even. A lot of people say we're getting rid of the trailers. Like, you guys have trailers. You can't even see it.
Yeah.
They're tucked back there.
Yeah. But we want it permanent, and the trailers were never meant to be around this long.
I think most churches would say that.
Tell the schools that.
Oh, I know. I know.
But yeah, I'll jump in and say, I think the project is good. I have no problems with the design per se. And we're losing some parking now, right?
Well, we're losing some, primarily because one of the things that we would like to do in a perfect world, in a wish list the church has, in the original master plan, the courtyard, which is up against the existing church, they've got like 6 parking spaces there right now. The master plan had those eliminated. So they like the idea of a courtyard. I actually had a meeting with them last Friday. I said, we're going to get some pushback probably on that. And they're okay with keeping that parking. If it came down, the planning commission comes back and says, I don't want you to lose that parking, then they're okay with keeping it. That way we won't.
Do we have a tabulation of how many is actually needed? And what we
25 is
provided?
needed, and we have
I
25.
Well,
Yeah,
25 is required,
Right.
And yeah.
but how many are needed, really? I mean,
Well,
does this church
How many
have
seats
a parking
are in
problem?
there? Yeah.
have what again?
A parking problem.
All churches have parking problems.
I'm just asking about this one.
This one actually doesn't. We're actually in pretty good shape. We have 2 services. We have a 9 o'clock service and a 10:45 a.m. service. And we average probably, it's never been a big church, probably 70, 65 in the first service, and about that same 58 to 65 in the second service. So it's never been a huge parking issue. We also have a gentleman's agreement. They can't make it official with farmers and merchants. So a lot of staff and all that park in that parking lot on Sundays because they don't have that. So, and then we do have parking. One of the things that Chris asked me to do is provided 4 additional parking spaces, maybe in the street. Talking with Zach Honsen, he wants that corner to kind of bulge out because people fly around that corner going down. And so he's this design on the site plan is kind of talking with Zach, and it also allows us to tuck in 4 parallel parking spaces there. Not that they're owned by the church because they're on public property, but that is an option as well.
So you can't formally count those.
We can't formally count those, but we do have that parking, and all the way down the hill, there's parking. But majority of people park on the property, obviously on what we call the courtyard now, and then farmers and merchants. We've never had a huge parking issue. If it became a parking issue, we would probably do 3 services.
Is there, we really don't have, I was trying to find a drawing with that designed as a patio.
Well, the patio is on A1. It's the colored up site plan. So keep going.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm the civil.
Right there.
Okay, so there would be no way if problems occur that you could reclaim that parking inexpensively, no? Okay, that answers my question.
Right.
Yeah, you're putting the steps in.
Yeah, we're putting steps in from
It's
the
raised
front, and then we got ramp and steps going down to the lower where the handicap would be. We've had some additional handicap future. If for some reason we wanted to finish off that basement, which there's no plans to, I don't want to put an elevator in. So
we have 23, and legitimately we've got some street parking.
So there's 25 off-site, public. It's on our site, and then there's 4 potential in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So you had, it looked like the one, originally had the one handicap space up there by the existing church.
Right.
So you're taking out the loading area to put in that ramp.
Right.
Looks like. Okay.
Right.
I mean, it's a nice little courtyard, that's for sure.
It would be nice, but they're realists. They understand that they might not get it.
Well, it really comes down to the church's what's adequate.
Operation plan.
I assume it's
Well, we
an
did
old-
that. We did a parking demand summary, which is on the title sheet. It was asked by Chris.
It's a little tough to read here.
Sunday, on the little half-size sets of kind of shooting. But it did kind of the operations of what goes on at church Sunday through Saturday. Yeah, it's on the title
I
sheet.
never even, I couldn't. Even when magnified silver light.
Okay, so it looks like one. So you have one per 4 seats,
Right.
and there's 100. Is it open seating or is it pews?
Open seating, they're chairs that move around.
Okay. So 25, and you're listing the 2 services. So 78 average on the first, and 60. Is that what that says?
Right.
Average on the
On
second. Okay. It's as an elderly congregation.
No, actually, it's not, except for me. But I would say our average age right now is probably 38.
And
Kids. We have a youth group that meets right now in the trailers on Tuesday nights, and it's gone from, we got a new youth pastor. It went from like 4 or 5. They estimated a little over 70 last Sunday.
well, so that's youth. Is that in high school?
That's junior high and high school.
Okay. So they're not driving to
They're
church.
not driving. Mom and dad are dropping them off.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't have any youth sitting in the main service, though. That's
No.
all adults.
All adults. Youth will then, like I said, they mainly meet Tuesday nights. They don't, believe it or not, the youth pastor himself is Subcommittee high school swim coach, one of these swim coaches. So he's got a lot of meets and everything on weekends, so he doesn't do a lot on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's the parking is always, the big question with all these churches.
Right.
I hate to see parking being taken out.
Right.
But you do meet the minimum requirement of 25.
Right, and based on the phasing, you know, obviously the first phase would be the office. We're not touching the courtyard first phase. So we have time to, the courtyard would be something that actually probably be almost like phase 2A. We finish this area down here and then go up here and do some modifications in there.
So the church is full, pretty much. I mean, obviously a church, if the seating is at 70% or 75% is considered full.
Right.
People don't like sitting right next to each other, usually.
Right.
But since they're individual seats and it's pretty small space, I don't know. I mean, 25
They
is
can
pretty
control it, but
Well, the one thing we could do is have a kind of a wait and see. But I don't know if things are really going to change because you're not adding any assembly space, right? You're just adding.
No, assembly space is still always going to be here, which is there today.
You say you don't have a big.
isn't there
What does that
additional
mean?
street parking down, what is it, Estrella or whatever that is?
Oh yeah, all the way down Estrella. There's
I mean, if they aren't counting, so there, I mean, there is overflow, and that's not. My daughter lives down in Placentia, and we come up and it's open
it's open most of the time.
most of the time. So I think there's additional
This is
on-street parking.
Yeah, you see
I don't
it
know how we
right.
justify that in documentation.
No, I think we're more concerned because they have the required number. So we're more concerned about whether it works or not.
Yeah.
If it overflows, there's that.
Yeah.
That's what we use.
That's
Right.
What do you think, Cameron?
I think that I personally, I always find it a tragedy when you have to consume usable space to park cars. So I think the fact that you can make it work and keep your usable space and not have to cannibalize your courtyard, we should support that.
I appreciate that.
and
Well,
I
they're
think-
adding the courtyard. They're not cannibalizing.
Adding the courtyard, yeah.
Right.
I think we
and
should support
since we're
that.
doing an architectural review, I think it enhances the building
Oh, absolutely.
amazingly to
Yeah,
get
no
that
question.
side elevation
Oh yeah.
enhanced with the courtyard and landscaping.
Getting rid of the trailers,
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
I
a
think
really
there's
big.
Oh, this is going to be a
benefit
great
there
project
also.
when it's done.
Yeah. No, I totally
It'll
agree
look
with
nice.
that.
And they're obviously willing to spend the money because they did that in the first building.
But
So
we have to consider parking at least. right?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of
I
wondering.
mean, if you guys are up for it,
25
I'm
spots.
inclined to agree. You know,
I,
What
it's amazing that the drawings actually look better than the building.
I do like the tech. I wish everybody.
We
used
always
the
talk
technique
about your-
here.
you know, I still hand draw. I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well, welcome to
Yeah,
the
I
Jurassic
figured I'm in
Park
the same.
here.
I'm in the same. You know, I told my employees when I stop drawing is when I retire. So it becomes that. So, but all of our clients now want like 3D models. They slide through and all that. It's like okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, we do those. But I still sketch by hand.
Yeah.
So you have a color one? I didn't see that.
Yeah, we have a colored one. It's on sheet A7. It
It's
shows
back in the-
it shows
Body
just
of
two
the-
colored on the office itself,
Oh, yeah.
and then it's got the two sides that we didn't color, and then we have colored ones all four sides on the multi-purpose room.
So you're going to have those pleated eaves like
Scalloped,
that?
yeah. We have that on the main building.
Okay.
We're just matching that.
And then it's a multiple course along the rake edge.
Yep. And then we do probably a 50% boost on the two-piece barrel, which is what we did on the building that we built.
Nice.
Smooth stucco, all that stuff. Where we use low-wing windows, we use the same. Everything's going to be essentially what we did on the main sanctuary.
Yeah, it looks like you're trying to match it.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, scale wise, I think it's a good match too.
And then because now we got to switch the door because this is going to be a legal office, and I got to have direct access for ADA and all that. So I'm coming in off the parking lot area into the front.
So that's why you clunked in that little corner.
Right. We decided, well, if I got to come into that door and mess up the inside, I need to capture some of that space.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice work.
Thanks, appreciate it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I gotta say, so it's in the minutes. I'm inclined to say move it on to Planning Commission with our recommendation to consider accepting it as drawn.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we don't approve anything necessarily.
Right.
You're a subcommittee, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll ask
But
for
aren't you guys, some of you guys on the planning commission?
all three of us.
Oh, I gotta see you guys again.
You only have to lobby one more.
You should be thanking.
I should be thanking you
Yeah,
guys,
thank you.
100%. There's a lot of work to do between now and getting into the planning commission. Obviously, we'll be working
Yeah.
with, I'm assuming, Jonathan, unless you're going to give me a new planner.
No, I'll work with you.
You can always give me Jonathan.
But it only has
Damn,
to
wait,
be
Jonathan.
it only has to really be on the little building at this point.
Well, we got to get the entire master plan approved,
Right.
the property, and
But
then we pull
you don't
separate
need
permits.
doesn't need everything for the master plan.
We require a lot of sheets, or not a lot of exhibits nowadays for the CUP
Right.
amendments, I think. Okay. Well,
But,
Oh, we're closer
try
to
to minimize
Jonathan.
that so you're not wasting time on that.
Right. We just finished a remodel on the church, got a permit because the men's restroom, it was a smaller restroom and men were waiting outside because it was only a single use. The state came in. And because we have a nursery and little kids, they can't lock the door, so we had to remodel and add a whole stall inside there or we're going to get fined by the state
So
of
that it
California.
could be like
So now it's just a
open-
regular door,
open,
you got a
closed
toilet,
door.
you got a urinal, you got a sink. So we just finished that.
Okay. Yep.
So, or we're going to get nailed by the state of California. So,
we know what that means.
even though we were permitted originally, but anyways. So yeah, we're looking forward to moving to the next step on this. We've got some newer families that want to move this forward. So,
Very good. Well, that's encouraging.
yeah. No, it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks again, guys. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see you at
It's been a
Planning
pleasure
Commission.
working with you on each step.
It's fun. I enjoy working with you guys. I get to go deal with the.
Some people
San
can.
Juan.
Some people don't say that, but
Yeah. Some people don't get it.
They don't understand.
architects say it.
That's right. Exactly. Well, I'll be
I
coming.
should make a comment.
All set?
All set.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, take care.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too. Okay. I had a feeling that was going to be an easy one today.
Yeah.
Nothing else in here, right?
Well, I've got something on the calendar when we get to it.
New business or just oral?
What are we, at Planning Commission, we've got the hotel down in Pierwall coming up to us.
It's going to be continued. So it is on the. It was noticed, but there was
The next meeting.
for the next meeting. But there was some information that needs to be updated related to that. So we are publishing the agenda with a recommendation on the agenda that says a recommendation to continue to the April Planning Commission meeting, which the first one's canceled, so it'll be April 17th, I believe. And David has also reached out to everyone on the interest list it's a simple memo that will be in the packet that recommends that continuation so that they're all aware as well that that's looking to be pushed to the April meeting instead.
And status of the theater and bowling alley.
Oh, Miramar. So I just got actually over the weekend a proposal from GPA. So I routed that to Adam and need to finalize a contract before we can move forward on that
Okay,
item.
before we review it.
Yeah.
Or are you going to, if the GPA is happy with it, are you going to be able to
Yeah, I think
Ellie, have to make the decision yourself, or do you want to bring it by us again?
I think ideally it would be something that comes to we might request a special meeting of design review.
Whose original approval
Yep.
had no vent stacks or anything on the El Camino side. But to do that, it absolutely ruins the truss design and all inside. So when you go in there, all these nice open trusses that they go on are going to have giant ducts between them, so you won't even see the second one. You can see the first one. But if they're allowed to come up, use exhaust hoods with the unit inside over the spaces, they can come out with just a pipe and a loop on it. on the El Camino side, which really isn't that obtrusive. I think there are 6 or 7 of them total.
Yeah,
Something like that. 6 or
exactly.
7. So that's what's being asked to review, and I think we can make a decision based on how does it affect the true interior, seeing this whole structure and cool look versus some shadows on the roof.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds reasonable.
I thought I observed them building a balcony on that, over the barrel roof.
There's a line of skylights over the ridge, but there's no balcony or anything.
You sure?
Yeah, there's no balcony over the barrel roof at all.
Right on the, would be the south end of it, right against the theater. I thought you just drove by it and it's
It's not a mechanical wall.
it's framed in.
Well, they did the.
Are you talking about
bathrooms.
in between the two structures?
Well, it looks like it's on the. Don't they attach?
They don't attach.
How?
So there is an equipment like mezzanine essentially between the two structures.
Oh, okay.
There's almost a triangular gap between them, with a narrower point being back towards the alley. And so, and this is consistent with what the plans that were approved before. You largely won't see it, but there's a platform that some mechanical equipment would sit on between those two buildings.
Okay.
It's on the plans, man.
Huh?
It's on the plans.
Well, just drive down there and look at it and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed it. I've taken a peek at that lately. Unfortunately, the beach trail has not been quite as accessible as
I think
it
most
used
of
to
the
be.
It's totally
landscape
closed.
is going in there. You're not going to be looking between the buildings anyway.
And
And it
that's
could be a lot.
the traction enclosure is up at that front location as well, so they'll have a larger gate that blocks some of the view of that interior space. It will largely be service space because the commissary kitchen is at the basement of the bowling alley, right? So they'll come up from there through that space in between, but only staff, not visitors, into the Miramar building.
And they're moving along on it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Do we want to adjourn this meeting?
Yes. Unless there's anything else, gentlemen? Okay. So, do I have a motion?
I'll move we adjourn to the regular meeting of the Design Review Subcommittee to be held Wednesday, March 27th in the Community Room, 910 Connie Negotia.